Welcome back. In this series of videos, I'm making an Appalachian Dulcimer from start to finish. Since the last episode, I've finished sanding the top, and it's time to start carving the inside. Before I can start on that, I need to make sure the top is symmetrical, and I'm going to check that with a contour gauge. Depending on how close I stay to the lines with the router, I should have a fairly symmetrical piece anyways, but it's still a good idea to check. I've marked the areas that are higher than the others and places where the sides aren't symmetric. I found that the transition from the round area in the middle of the instrument to the flat area towards the side needs the most work. It's bad practice to chisel over an area that's already been sanded because the sandpaper will leave abrasive particles in the pores of the wood, and that will dull the chisel. I'm going to try to hit most of these areas with the sandpaper, but I will have to use the chisel in some places. I'll have to sharpen the chisel afterwards, but I'm going to do that anyways. Once I'm satisfied that the outsides of the top and the bottom are symmetrical, it's time to carve the inside. I'm going to do that using a simple jig I made for the drill press, which I've moved outside of the shop for better light and more room to move. The top needs to be 3 millimeters thick, and that can be measured using a gauge or by stacking some guitar picks between a dowel and the lower limit of the drill press. In retrospect, it would have been wise to put some padding on top of the dowel, since this jig will leave some marks that need to be sanded out, but overall, it works pretty well. I've marked out a grid on the inside of the top, and my plan is to drill one hole in each square, then remove the extra material with a gouge. I want to leave 2 supporting bars in the middle where the orange tape is. In a violin or an archtop guitar, these are called tone bars, and they're carved to dimensions that will make the instrument resonate better at certain regular frequencies and give it a better tone, which is where the name comes from. I haven't experimented with enough instruments to calculate the dimensions I need for a dulcimer, and that's outside of the scope of this project. I'm just going to leave these in for structural support. When I get to an area where the drill doesn't touch the wood, I know that I've reached the limit of what I want to carve. It would have also been a good idea to mark out a certain distance from the edge of the profile, although that isn't very clear where that line is at this stage. Once the holes are drilled, I can start working with the chisel. The idea is that I can cut out the excess material until the marks left by the drill disappear, and then I know that I'm at the right thickness. If I had to guess why dulcimers aren't traditionally made with a carved top, I would say it's because I can make a much more widely known instrument, like a violin, for the same amount of time and effort required, which would have been greater with the limited tools most people might have owned. Since I have access to power tools, I'm going to speed things up with a power carver. Now I need to do the same for the back. I've used a larger grid on this, so I'll have to remove more material with a gouge, but I think it will be easier because I don't have the support bars in the middle. And that concludes this week's update. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for more developments in the next episode.